Hi everyone, it's Chris here from Innovate Web Design, and today we are going to be looking at your website speed. Now, website speed is very important for two reasons. One is for Google rankings. If it's slow, then it will negatively impact on your Google rankings. And the other reason is for user experience, and this also impacts on Google rankings too. Now, if your user experience, if they're coming on, your visitors are coming onto your website and it's slow, taking too long to load, then they're gonna come off it. I'm sure you've experienced it when you've gone onto a website and it's too slow. You just give up and you come off it and you go to somebody else. If that happens, then that's increased what's going to call your bounce rate. That's the amount of people that come onto your website and literally leave straight away or don't wait for it to fully load up. Sometimes your bounce rate can be poor down to poor content or the content not being right for the visitor. So let's look at your website speed. Now, we've got a great tool that we can use from gtmetrics.com. So if you go into your browser and just put in gtmetrics.com, you'll come up with this page here, and you've got the option to sign up and log in as well. Now, we will do that in a minute. I'm just going to quickly show you a couple of things. On here, if you've got, you can just enter your web domain name and analyze it straight away. But as you can see down here, it's going to test it from Canada and on a Chrome desk. You might not want to test it on those. So I do advise you just taking a few minutes to sign up and then come back to the video. I'm going to log in here now. And before we put in my domain name, because we'll look at my website today, I'm happy for it to be tested on Chrome, and I'm going to change this to London. That's because it's more local for me and my website. If you're located in America, you might want to do America, or if you have a business in America, you might want to see how long it takes for your website to actually load up in America. I've already got a few of these already lined up, so I'm going to go into my one and analyze it. And this will take a few seconds to go through. Sometimes about 30 seconds to a minute to actually go through and analyze your website. If there's a lot of, if the server's quite busy, you'll get like, you might find you get like a message saying that you need to wait so long. And as you can see now, my report has come through. Now it's important to let you know that these performance scores, they're an indicator. They're not the out and out be all. But if you've got, I've seen it where people have scored A's and A's, but had a load time of 5 seconds. So load time is really what you're looking at, and that is the big thing. And as you can see here, for me, it's 2.5 seconds. Now that actually is acceptable for me. I'm going to show you how to get that a bit faster in a second. And just going on to another thing here, because I'll show you a screenshot in a minute. In additional tips, you'll find that you might have that you don't have a CDN. Now CDN is a content delivery network. Now, content delivery networks allow your content to be delivered from different areas at the same time. So rather than like somebody in America having to go onto a server in the UK to access your content, this content is accessible in their local area. So it increases the overall speed time. That's something you can either do through your web developer, or if you want to, I'll give you some links at the end of this so you can find out how to do that yourself. So I'll just quickly show you a screenshot from earlier on. On here you can see that my time for my web load was 3.5 seconds. At the time I was not using a CDN. I've set that up now. Overall that saved me a second. So just by offering a CDN, that has saved me a second on my load time. Now today I'm going to be looking at mainly scaled serving scaled images. Now serving these images is quite important because you can save a lot of space and time by serving these images scaled. What this means is that sometimes on your website you'll have an image that you've put in, but when it actually displays on the website, it has to be compressed and it has to be minimized. The best way to save some time is to actually upload it for the actual size that you need. So we're going to have a look here at a couple of images. We're going to look at the chiropractor one. And if you click on these links here, you can see exactly which image it is that you need to change. So I know this one's the chiropractor, and there's my name there, the chiropractor logo, JPEG. And if I come into one of my other ones, and the other one I'm going to look at today is the buffalo. So these are two that I'm going to look to minimize as recommended here. And then we'll see what the changes are when we retest at the end. Now, to actually minimize your images, there's a few different ways that you can do it. So on here, I'm going to be using Paint today. You can also use Photoshop, which I've got as well, but not everybody's got Photoshop. And if you're using the Mac, you can use Preview to actually do it as well, to resize your images. So I'm going to bring it open Paint. And I'm going to save because that's just no good. I'm going to open up the image from my desktop, the buffalo one. Now, let's just go back onto GTmetrix and see what size it would like it served at. So it's saying 150 by 150. So that's what we'll look to do today. And we'll go back onto Paint. Really easy. You click on Resize. Make sure you click on pixels rather than percentage, and it shows the amount of pixels that you've got. Make sure that you maintain the aspect ratio. I'm going to put in 150, and it will resize it. And I'm going to save as. For this one, I'm going to save it as 3, just to make sure there's no duplication or complication when I upload it into my WordPress site. So if I open up the chiropractor one, I don't need to save that now. So that's the chiropractor one. Again, we need to have a look and see what we need to resize it to. So we come in here, we are looking at 400 by 150 for the chiropractor. Again, click on Resize, make sure you click on Pixels, maintain the aspect ratio, and we're looking at 400. So that's 400 by 127. So that's what we'll go with today. That's fine, and we'll resize that. We'll then save that off, and we'll call that #2 again, just to differentiate it from any of the other images that we have on there. I'm now going to upload this into my media file on WordPress. Depending on which CMS you use, so you might use different ones like Wix or Shopify or Squarespace, you're going to have to obviously determine which way you need to upload those images. Right, so I'm going to go onto my WordPress, and I've already got my media files opened up. I'm going to add new. In here, I'm just going to add my new one. So I'll go into my desktop, and it's Buffalo 3. And the other one I'm going to be loading up is the chiropractor. I just want to make sure I've got the right one. There we go, 400 by 127. So I've got my 2 files opened up. I'm now going to put those onto the front end. So I'll just go away now and work on that on the front end and just make a few changes to my website with those images, and I'll be back soon. Everyone, I'm back now. I've done that on the front end, made those changes to the images, and we'll now go and retest and see how that has affected the scoring. Nice and easy, just click on the retest there on the right hand side, and that will just retest your website. There we go, the report's coming through now, and we'll see how this has changed. So as you can see there, the load time is now 2.1 seconds. the page speed score has come down to D. And you'll now see that the serve scaled images, it's now recommending that I serve the scaled images for these two to improve that time. I'll be looking at the other changes as we go along. For today then, you can see how easy it is to improve your image sizes relevant to what's needed for your website to help improve your website speed. And I'll leave notes for how to improve, how to implement a CDN. As you can see, that can take off, for this website, it took off a second on the website speed. And I totally believe that by the time I make these changes, we'll be looking at below 2 seconds for web speed, which is absolutely fantastic. If you'd like any more hints and tips on web design, SEO, and WordPress, then please subscribe today. You can also follow me on the usual channels on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn. Thank you very much for listening today.